Hey guys, we're back here with the Liberty Hour here with Royce. Before I get into my thoughts on where I think LeBron will be going in the summertime, Royce, you started up a podcast, I think, recently where you talk about NFL issues and stuff like that. I know it's been kind of tough right now because there hasn't been a lot of stuff going on with the NFL, even though it is off season and the draft did just occur. Obviously, everybody else is focused on NBA and other sports. How's the podcast been going so far for you?
That's been going well. We hit a little bit of a standstill as soon as May happened. Mm-hmm. And there was an internet fiasco at my apartment, so the podcast has been down for a while, but I'm hoping to get it started up in late June, probably, when training camp's starting to hit up in July. So it'll be mainly just to update on injuries that occur and I'll try to stay away from the political stuff as much as possible.
Right.
So,
well, I listened to a couple of them, and I got to say that it was pretty entertaining. So yeah, I'll definitely keep listening. So keep it up for sure.
Yeah.
So getting into where I think LeBron will go. So I hear your point about him staying out east, but I think there is a discussion and conversation of him possibly going out west. Now, Chris Paul has already tried to recruit him to go to the Rockets, and it's possible he could go there. Now, where I think he will go, I think he will go to the Sixers. That's my guess. I think that's where he will go. Where I think he should go, there's two different teams. Everybody's talking about LA. I don't think he should go there, even though you have a chance to land Paul George or Kawhi if he decides to leave the Spurs. There's two teams. One that I mentioned last week, which was the Spurs. You get to play under the second best coach of all time. You still have Aldridge there, still have Gasol. You'd motivate Manu to come back one more season, still have Parker, and you'd immediately, in my opinion, become a number 2 contender in the West over the Rockets to beat Golden State. But honestly, I was thinking about it, and I think if he can land one big guy, and I know relations right now with Karl Anthony Towns over in Minnesota aren't looking so hot, a team that's got some cap space and a team that's going to need some help that I would like to see him go to personally is Portland. I think it'd be really cool to see him play with Lillard and McCollum, see him running that system they have over there. And I think that'd be really cool. You would need a big guy to join him down there, and you would have to build a bench around him, but that would create a huge market, and I think that's one team that nobody's talking about, and I think that'd be a really interesting move. Do I think it will happen? Hell no. I just think that it would be cool.
No. Yeah. I'll say this, and it's worth watching in the summer, the Lakers, which has been floated around a bunch by a lot of different media members. But the interesting thing about it is if the Lakers are serious about targeting LeBron, does that mean Lonzo's on his way out? Because I don't think LeBron wants LeVar's antics if he's going to the Lakers. And if the Lakers want to attract LeBron over, they have to get rid of Lonzo.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think if he was to go to the Lakers, I think they would try to trade Kuzma and they try to get rid of Kuzma and probably Ingram and try to bring in Paul George there to motivate him. I don't know if Lonzo would have to leave.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they wouldn't, not like saying they would release him, but they'd trade him. But the interesting thing would be, from what I'm hearing, is the Lakers are definitely going to look into Paul George because he definitely wants to be there.
Yeah.
The other name that was floated around was Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
And you can't get all three of them.
No.
And you'll have to trade pieces to get Leonard. So, and Magic Johnson just put something out the other day saying that nobody's untouchable over here. So,
well, I mean, let's get this straight. I mean, LeBron's not going to LA unless he gets either George or Leonard, period. Because LeBron at this point of his career, let's be real, he's all about championships, period. Yeah. So he needs to go to a place where there's key assets that are ready for him or that are going to be ready for him once he gets there. And so LeBron's just not going to go to the team and then hope they get one of those guys. They have to get one of them quick. And knowing that they have to trade for, I think, both of them, I don't see that happening. They have the ability to sign 2 max deals. I just don't see that as a solid marketplace at this current NBA.
Yeah. But the other question is, do you sign LeBron at year 16 to a max deal?
He might be the only player.
If you're a rebuilding team.
Right. I mean, he might be the only player all time that I would say yes to that answer.
Yeah.
But, you know, you wouldn't want to sign him for extremely long because you don't know how much he actually is going to be able, how long he's going to be able to keep up this play. That actually is another thing I wanted to get into talking about LeBron. This will be the last thing. I feel like we've talked about him forever. This will be the last thing I'll ask you on this. At the current level LeBron's playing at, how much longer do you see him being able to keep this up?
And I'm going to be honest, it's the same as the Brady argument. We won't know until we see a downturn. But at the end of the day, I think he can carry this for a few years. Now, granted, this guy hasn't been hurt for his entire career.
Right.
So if he gets hurt, is it over? Is it not over? I don't know, but I think he can carry it for a few more years.
Yeah, it's like it's insane his body and how he's able to keep everything so solid and not get injured. It's like he's going to Wakanda to grab some vibranium. I mean, seriously, this guy is like, he has the most premier body of an athlete, I think, out of all sports today. And the fact that he's still playing arguably the best level of his career at 33 years old just proves that.
Yeah.
All right, so enough about LeBron. Getting back into the NBA Finals here. So a lot of people today have gone out in the sports world and been talking about two big plays that cost the Cavs the game against the Warriors. Now, the Cavs played really solid. Even though the Warriors did go off in the third quarter like they usually do, they did limit the Warriors, and they were still able to stay in the game heading into the fourth quarter, which is the formula if you're going to beat the Warriors. And basically, the two plays everybody's talking about is the call that ended up being reversed. That was called a block against LeBron instead of a charge, which was the original call with about 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter of regulation. And then at the very end of the game, when J.R. Smith got a rebound with 4.7 seconds left and dribbled the ball back to half court with LeBron yelling at him for all 4 seconds. And my question to you is a couple things. One, which play do you view as more important to the Cavs' loss, and why?
See, that's a tough one because both of them, I would view the J.R. Smith one more vital to the loss, only because you had a chance to win after the call was reversed. Now, granted, the refs probably shouldn't have reviewed it based off of rules that the NBA has put in place, but I'm not complaining because I'm a Warriors fan. So,
right.
The J.R. Smith play to me was just a huge boneheaded mistake. And the most important thing is it lets KD off the hook. I mean, KD was not having a great game whatsoever. And then he's like, okay, I need something bad to happen to one of these players on the Cavs. And J.R. Smith just runs to the half-court line with the ball thinking that they're up by 1. And I'm like, what are you doing? With 1, right. You could shoot and you get 2 points ahead and you win. But you don't.
Yeah.
And LeBron's just like in shock that this happened.
Yeah. One of the main reasons I was actually late to the show is the internet's awesome, and I was too busy looking at memes from the finals of last night. But here's the thing about JR. Durant was not right last night. He was not right. He did not have a great game whatsoever. Draymond only showed up in clutch situations. To be fair to him, he did show up in clutch situations. By the way, on a side note, Draymond is averaging 11, 11, and 8 in the playoffs. I don't know how. I haven't seen it, but somehow it's happening. Props to Draymond for somehow pulling those stats off. Curry, in my opinion, was the only player for the Warriors that was solid consistently and thoroughly on both sides of the basketball last night. Thompson, to be fair to him, did get injured after, of all people, JR did run into his leg in the first quarter. Thompson, by the way, has played every single playoff game for the Warriors for the last 4 years.
MVP.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. But here's the thing about the JR thing last night. So he gets the rebound, right? So when he gets the rebound, as he's coming down with the ball, Durant is still going up in the air. What that means is even a college player would be able to figure this out. You literally, all you have to do in that situation is not even move. Just roll to your right side and finger roll it in off the glass with your right hand. If you do that, it's game over, period. Now, I'm not going to let George Hill off the hook because he missed that free throw, and George Hill's a 81% foul shooter, which you can almost bet your car on.
And that was a bad miss, too.
Oh, yeah. Front rim, he barely hit rim. That's not a good miss whatsoever. Like, he needs to be hitting that shot. That's why LeBron passed him the ball, as he saw George Hill going in for the layup, which props to LeBron. I mean, in that situation, he's like, I can go for my third game winner of the playoffs and have a 50-point performance. But no, instead I'm going to do the team thing, and I'm going to pass it to my guy, George Hill, who's down low, and probably he will get fouled, but I'm going to trust he'll make free throws. And that's what happened. Thompson luckily made a good play on it to foul him before the ball even had a chance to go up. But George Hill's got to make that shot. But back on JR, he gets the rebound, and you have literally 4 guys of the Warriors that are still down low, that their brains are frozen, and you've got a wide open LeBron James up top who has made like 8 threes in the game. Pass the rock if you're worried.
I know.
That even if you think that you guys have the lead, give it to LeBron. LeBron will hold the ball to hold out the clock. What is JR doing? It seriously is beyond me. And JR, said after the game that he knew the game was tied. That's bullcrap. He didn't know the game was tied.
That's what makes it so much worse. Right. He says that, and on the court, you see it on camera. He mouths up to LeBron, I thought we were ahead. And you can read his lips. That's what he says. But then at the end what makes the interview he had even worse was he said, I was waiting for someone to call timeout. I'm like, dude.
I know.
There was nobody around you. You were right in front of the ref. Everyone is staring at you. You could have just called timeout. And LeBron's right next to the ref, and he's not paying attention, trying to call timeout, and the clock just goes to 0. And the one game that you guys had a chance of winning, you somehow blew it. And
seriously, this ranks up there with the Weber call timeout when you don't have one back in Michigan with the Fab Five. But the thing with the timeout is you should call that timeout. And I understand you have 5 other guys for the 4 on the court and Coach Lou that can also call a timeout. But the point is they, along with everybody else on that team, they put their trust in each other. They're putting their trust in you to call timeout, JR. Call timeout. Oh, and the thing is, LeBron was so shocked that he didn't call timeout and the whole sequence that happened. Then when there was about 0.9 on the clock, he did for a split second try to call timeout to the ref, but the ref didn't see it, and the clock ultimately ran out. It's just absolutely insane. It's just bad in general, and this isn't the first time JR has done this. JR has made bad decisions at end of games in his career when he was with New York. He shot the ball in a critical game towards the end of the season. I think it was against the Hawks, and there was 20 seconds on the clock, and there was no shot clock. He easily could have held it for the last shot. Instead, took it, and Atlanta ended up getting the ball and winning in overtime. But I will get to you guys. Another thing I want to talk about JR. I also want to mention the other play. We will get to both of those things in the next part for you guys here in part 3. Sorry about my voice once again. We'll be right back.